The true story of H. Holmes. Born in May of 1861, his given name was Herman Webster Mudgett. Highly intelligent from an early age, he had a fascination with death, and may have caught and dissected small animals around his home. It is also rumored that he may have caused the death of a childhood friend. He graduated high school at 16, then decided to study medicine. As a medical student at the University of Michigan, he stole cadavers from the laboratory, took out insurance policies on them, then burned or disfigured them, arranging the bodies to make it look like they had been killed in an accident. He would then file a claim and collect the insurance money. After graduating from medical school, he moved to Chicago, where he got a job at a pharmacy. When the owner died, Holmes offered to buy the store from the grieving widow. She agreed to sell, allowing him to pay in installments. Soon after making this arrangement, she went missing and was never seen again. As the new owner of the drugstore, Holmes bought the empty lot across the street at 63rd and Wallace. He designed the detailed plans of a huge 3-story building. It would take up most of an entire city block. This would eventually come to be known as the Murder Castle. While under construction, Holmes used a different contractor for each new section of the hotel. This assured that no one else would have a complete picture of the building. There were stairs that ended in a brick wall or circled back to the same room. Some of the guest rooms were soundproof. Some were airtight and connected to gas lines. He could easily render his victims unconscious or dead with the silent flick of a switch. There were secret passages and trapdoors, and chutes that led to the basement incinerator. Completed in 1891, Holmes moved his pharmacy into the first floor of his Hotel of Horrors. The building was completed in time for a 5-month-long Chicago World's Fair. He placed ads in the newspapers, offering rooms for rent and jobs available for young single women. He looked for women who were on their own, maybe for the first time in the big city. He portrayed himself as a wealthy man looking for a wife. No one is quite sure of how many women he became engaged to, but Holmes was handsome and charming, and he managed to convince his wives, fiancés, and employees to purchase life insurance policies, listing him as the sole benefactor. Many of these women rented a room for a few weeks to attend the fair and then went home. But many would never be seen again. Their lifeless bodies tossed down the chute to the basement, there to be dissected, their bones cleaned, and their skeletons sold to medical universities. It is unknown how many were held captive and tortured while still alive. When the World's Fair ended, Holmes moved on. He committed insurance fraud, several murders, and took part in a horse-stealing operation. His accomplice on many occasions was Benjamin Pitezel. In the fall of 1894, Holmes killed Benjamin, striking him with a lead pipe and burning his body beyond recognition. Holmes convinced Benjamin's widow that he was still alive and offered to take 3 of the children to see their father. The children disappeared. The bodies of the 2 daughters, Alice and Nellie, were found the following year, but all that remained of little Howard Pitezel were a few teeth and some fragments of bone. H. Holmes was arrested in July of 1894. He confessed to 27 murders, later changing that number to over 130. He was tried in Philadelphia and sentenced to death. Waiting for execution, Holmes was calm. His last request was for his casket to be encased in cement and buried 10 feet deep to protect him from grave robbers. On May 7, 1896, a few days before his 36th birthday, Henry Howard Holmes was executed by hanging. His body fell as the rope tightened, but his neck did not snap. It was a slow, agonizing death, his body twitching as it swung. In his death row confession, Holmes said, "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than a poet can help the inspiration to song. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor, and he has been with me ever since."